Hi, welcome to Snakes and Adders. We're continuing our introducing series on beginner snakes by today discussing two groups of king snakes, which used to be very popular in the early to mid 90s. Then the genetics boom with corn snakes came and everybody jumped ship to pastures greener, which is a real shame because these snakes are awesome. Colours wise, size wise, the hardiness of the species, the way that they feed, the ease of breeding. You know, these animals have got a hell of a lot going for them. And they are the Mexicana complex and the Pyro Molalla complex. So first off, we've got the group that's endemic to Mexico, which is the Mexicana complex. That includes Lampropeltis mexicana, which is the San Luis Potosi king snake. There's Lampropeltis mexicana theori, which is the variable king snake. There's Lampropeltis mexicana greeri, which is probably one of the hardest ones to find, and that's called the Durango king snake. And also that actively breeds with the other two species mentioned, and there was a lot of intergrades in the 90s which caused problems. So if you could find a pure greeri, you're very lucky. And then lastly, it's now been given its own species status, but it used to be part of the complex, and that was Lampropeltis mexicana alterna, which is the grey-banded king and the largest of the group. Probably the prize as well. It's the brightest, it's the most beautiful. The variable and the grey band come in two different sets of phases which are naturally occurring. The variable king is available in milk snake and Leone's phase. Milk snake, as the name suggests, is a tricoloured snake. The Leone's is still arranged in saddles with the same colours but just not with the banding of the milk snake phase. The grey banded king is available in Alterna and Blair's phase. Grey bandeds are incredibly beautiful snakes. They feed well, they are hardy, they are tame. As youngsters they're a little small, so sometimes they can be a little difficult to get going, but if you visit a respected breeder or a respected shop, then they should have got them going for you. They should be feeding readily on defrost prey, and once they go in, they don't really stop. They're excellent snakes, really are. The same goes for both groups. You're going to be in a 2.5 to 3 foot viv, your dry substrate. You're going to have maybe some rocks and logs and plants for them to climb about on, a basking temperature of between 29 and 30 degrees Celsius, a cool end of about 24. In winter, to breed them, you are going to have to brumate them, which means dropping them to pretty cool temperatures, maybe 6-8 weeks at about 15 degrees Celsius, and then bring them back out the other side. Make sure that you grade your decline into the brumation temperatures. Don't just put them off a cliff face because their immune system won't cope with it. Everything's got to be graded, and we bring them back up again. There's no real complications with the breeding of them. It's standardized, temperate, colubrid care. So the corn snakes and American kings would fall into the same parameters that we'd use to breed these, although it has been noted with these being montane, both groups, that we may need to drop them slightly cooler than we would the other groups. The second group that we're going to discuss is the Pyro Molalla group, which is the mountain kings, and they occur in Arizona, Chihuahua and Huachuca, and they are Lampropeltis pyromolana, Lampropeltis pyromolana noblochi, and Lampropeltis pyromolana woodini probably being the coolest looking. In my opinion, I suppose there'll be fans of every one, and there's no reason not to be. Every snake that I've mentioned here is absolutely gorgeous, and the good thing is we're not even talking about them being high value either. They're ready feeders. Their colours are insane. I mean, to get a corn the same colour, this is the ridiculous thing. To get a corn the same colour or intensity that you can get some of the variable kings in, you'd be paying hundreds, and yet you can pick up animals like we've got in stock currently, something called a vivid line variable king. The thing is a tangerine. It is a snake form tangerine. It is insane. It's banging. Its colours are off the charts. And I'm not selling, but it's just an example, £60. Whereas to get that same sort of orange, that same sort of intensity, well, first off, I don't know of a corn snake exists that can even get close to it. But if I was to try and even get there, I'd be paying multiple hundreds of pounds. They're well worth looking into. They're manageable. They're slightly smaller than the corns and the rats and the American kings and some of the other colubrids that we've discussed. And they're just, they deserve so much more attention than they get. and the continued breeding efforts of the stalwart breeders that are still going ought to be applauded, because now they're producing things with these granite phases where their pattern's all broken up and smashed to bits. Like I've mentioned, the vivid line, I had some peach line ones which are awesome, pinks as well, and there's, you know, a real opportunity to develop a group that was maligned through no fault of their own because of the genetics boom and everybody chasing the dollars and pound notes from the corns, and these fell by the wayside, and it's a real shame. So to review, the groups that you need to look at are Lampropeltis mexicana and Lampropeltis pyromellana. So I'll make sure that in the notes I make, or in the comments, that I make a list of the subspecies with their Latin names so that you can look them up. They're fantastic and you won't go wrong. Just really, really cool snakes to keep. We're very much getting near towards the end of the beginner snakes. There's just a couple of loose ends I need to tie up. We need to cover some of the European and Asian rat snakes that are easier to maintain, and also we need to look at sand boas, and I think that's about it really. And then we'll be moving on to our beginner lizards. We did the beardies the other day, but we'll be doing leopard geckos, crested geckos, Berber skinks, fire skinks, blue tongue skinks. So we're going to really work through those as well, and see if we can help you with your knowledge and research prior to buying your animal. Remember, all the stuff that's been discussed in these videos is stuff that you should be doing prior to actually buying anything. Reading, researching, looking up, gaining opinions, making sure that you have an informed opinion when you walk into a shop. I have been looking at these king snakes. I have been looking at these corn snakes. Can you help me? That's the only way that you're going to know that the person who's selling to you is not mugging you off or taking you around the corner. It's important, guys. You've got to do this research first. Thank you for the time. Keep watching the videos. Visit the website, which is www.snakesnadders.co.uk, to see what we're all about. Cheers.